Oh, are you kidding me?
Woohoo! Hello, folks. Moose here. Getting out of work about an hour early today. And we're checking to see if the crackling's gone in the mic. I got the front vent closed. Not entirely sure if that might be what was causing it or not. But thought we'd give it a shot. The only other option might be the wire to the mic could have damage to it, which would be a pain in the ass because it's all part of the Cena headset system. So fuck you, Cena. And trying to find out exactly where that is broke at could be a pain on its own. It's also part of the volume control knob. So all the way around, big problems if that's the case. Which means the only other option, besides trying to fix it, well, I guess there'd be two other options besides trying to fix it. One, buy a full new system for it, which I am not planning on doing. Two, take the 20S I have on my Nolan that I don't use anymore and mount it on this helmet. And that'd be a way out of it. Wouldn't be as waterproof as this one is, but I'm sure I could make do. So we will see about that when we get back to the house. Got class tonight. At around 6. It's a little after 2 right now. So I get a little extra time at home before I go to school. It'd be nice. A little rest. Maybe turn in some assignments. So the other day at work, we had a respect in the workplace training, which from my understanding is something that's done just about every so many years now, at least at our shop. This training is not taught by anyone at the shop per se. It is actually taught by a lawyer that is an attorney for harassment, I guess, in the workplace, more or less. And basically what it states is we're talking sexual harassment, of course. We're talking something that might offend someone else, I guess should be the best way to put it. Something that would offend any reasonable person, because there is that clause, the reasonable person act, basically. Meaning if I come in and say hello to you, you can't go, oh, that offends me, and, sue me. However, in the workplace, if you offend someone and they prove that it would be offensive to any reasonable person, this in turn gets you sued, possibly fired probably at the same time, and you cannot defend yourself against it. It's a law that's been on the books for a long time, since after World War II, where women were working in the shops and men came back from war, and basically to get them out of there, guys would say, hey baby, sleep with me, you keep your job, you don't, you're fired. So they put this in effect, I guess, for something like that, according to the way the lawyer explained it. And I understand you don't want to be offensive to somebody, but I mean, really, if you're telling a joke or talking to your friends, I guess I can see their point. You're supposed to be professional at work. However, the fact that you can't defend yourself just because the person says you said it, and it's something that they figure a reasonable person, if a reasonable person heard it, it would be offensive, then your ass is grass. You can't use the old, well, that's just the way I am, they got to put up with it, of course. So you really got to mind your P's and Q's anymore, because it seems like everybody and their brother and sister, I don't want to appear sexist, is offended by something. You know, I've been alive for a little over 38 years now. And during those 38 years, I don't even need a hand to count the amount of times I have been offended by someone, because I've never been offended. Nothing usually offends me. Things might piss me off. I might get upset. However, I am not offended by anything anybody says. But apparently, in today's times, if you offend somebody at work by saying the word, and excuse my swearing, but I swear quite often, fuck, fucking, something like that, then yeah, and that offends them, then basically your ass is getting sued. You're talking 10 grand right up front for the lawyer and stuff. I don't know why you need the lawyer, because you can't defend yourself, can't explain your side of it. Doesn't matter if you're joking or talking to somebody who's a friend or anything like that. There's no explaining it to get yourself out of it. So I guess the key thing is be respectful at work, be professional at work, try to watch how much you swear, how many dirty jokes you tell. I can understand the racial card, because I don't think racial slurs is anything that's needed anywhere. However, with that said, I'm sure most of us at one time has heard or told a racial joke. Maybe not something we're proud of. However, you know, it happens. Doesn't matter what race you are. But I can understand how that's not acceptable at the workplace, of course, and it's not really acceptable outside the workplace either. So I agree with that. Totally. But I don't really know if I agree with everything else. And of course, it doesn't matter whether or not I agree with it. It is what it is. And of course, you know, they do this in a shop environment. And for the most part, everybody at the shop is more or less, we find it humorous more than we do anything else. You know, I mean, for a while it'll be the joke around the shop. Well, fuck you, respectively. You know, shit like that. We all know each other. And we know who and who's not can be trusted. I think like that's that way in a lot of places. But I mean, like me personally, I'm a fairly perverted, dirty person. I like jokes. I swear a lot. I cuss a lot. A lot of times I don't even realize I'm doing it, which I'm working on. So I know it's not very professional. But, you know, it's hard to change your stripes after you've been doing it so many years. I mean, I started out working in restaurants where they cussed a lot in the kitchen. I worked in body shops, oh Lord. And I worked in factories, oh Jesus. But I just thought I would mention that, along with the fact that I hope my mic is working properly this time. Not crackling, go pop, 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 crack, 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 crack. It is. I'm gonna have to do something about that. But what are your thoughts on respect in the workplace? Do you get offended easily? And if so, I'm sorry. But from someone who has never been offended by anything anyone's ever said in their life, maybe I'm just one of the odd people out, the exception. But I was raised to say that words don't mean shit. You know, when somebody calls you and stuff, it doesn't really matter. They're just words. They're just words. Not personal. They're not personal.
Being called a cocksucker isn't personal? No. It's two nouns combined to elicit a prescribed response.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask. That is on my last video, but it was so crackly you couldn't understand it. Anybody else with these GoPro cameras have any problem with the clips? I've broken 2 now in the last 2 weeks. And it's always the same hook. It's the one on the... Jesus. It's the one on the bottom. Don't know if I got a batch of bad plastic or what. But I go to click them. Jesus, fucking wind. I go to click them into the housing. The female connector. You know, go plug the male part of the connector into the female part of the connector. Seems kind of dirty. But yeah, broken the bottom off the GoPro mount twice now. 2 different mounts. I'm starting to run out of them. I got it in there right now with just one mount, one clip. Seems to be holding all right. As I say that, the camera drops off. Anyways, till next time, keep her upright, keep her safe. Rock on. See ya.